You guys have been waiting for an updated wildlife video, so let's take a few minutes and talk about that. It's about time I did an updated video on wildlife. My first video was sitting at, I think, like around 250,000 views thus far, and I recently did a video on Subverse, and I think like a week or two after that I did a video on League of Maidens, and you guys have been asking me to do like an updated, more up-to-date, I guess, overview on wildlife because I haven't yet, and apparently you guys need it. So before I get into the latest updates, allow me to quickly refresh your memory as to what wildlife is. Wildlife is an upcoming action RPG aimed at adults. It currently does not have a rating, but honestly, if you watch the video, you'll probably have a rough estimate as to what kind of game it's going to be. Although, don't get me wrong, at the same time, the game is going to be heavily focused around being an action RPG. Romances and relationships are only going to be a single additional feature, not a main focal point of the game as far as I'm aware. The game employs an action combat system with what is likely going to be a lot of left and right click spamming along with dodges and parries. I'm unsure of whether there will be skills or skill trees involved, but I'm assuming that's going to be announced further down the line. The game will also allow for player flight. Like, I'm not even kidding, you actually have wings. Like, we are essentially harpies. I'm uncertain if that means that they have plans for aerial combat or they want to have certain features take place in the air, but it'll make for some pretty sick aerial raids. So since my initial video back in August, there have been a plethora of updates released. That is almost half a year worth of updates. Nevertheless, I am going to take a few minutes here and attempt to condense them into as easily a digestible form as I can. So, initially, the version of the game that I did a video on was very limited. Not only was there not really much to do, but there wasn't much in the way of gameplay or even information for that matter. However, a lot of updates have been applied to the game, adding in a variety of new things, like whole entire zones to explore, a ton of new character animations, additional character customization options. This includes wing customization as well. New survival elements were introduced like hunger, thirst, and even a need to sleep. These, I feel, were desperately needed as this is essentially a survival game that lacked the necessary survival elements. Players are also able to submerge themselves in the ocean. Yeah, specifically the ocean. That's pretty much all I could find info on. I'm honestly not sure if that means there's going to be like some kind of underwater combat implemented sometime in the future, or if this is merely added as a way to add like a sense of realism to the game. Additionally, ranged combat has finally been implemented, and since you're now going to feel hungry, the ability to cook has been introduced. You'll find food items from looting various plants and animals. Oh yeah, did I mention that there are also quests in the game? Yeah. So while the game looks to be somewhat of a survival game, there are going to be, regardless of how limited they might end up, functional quests in-game for players to take and complete. Furthermore, to add on to the customization, we'll also have the option of equipping and therefore collecting various different outfits for our characters as well, as if we didn't already have enough to do in game. But I mean, hey, I'm not complaining. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in, you know, customizing, like highly customizing your character's appearance via outfits specifically. So yeah, you guys are going to be happy with the options that are provided. The character models have come along quite a way though. I was looking at Maya, and not only her new outfit, but also her character model looks incredible. Oh, right, yeah. Did I mention that not only are we going to have quests, but there are also going to be NPCs. So, like, in most survival games like Ark or Rust, you exist within the game and you play with however other many players are playing on the same server as you. However, in Wildlife, while yes, the game is going to be somewhat of a survival game, you'll be playing with NPCs as opposed to playing with other players, which actually I'm not sure will be an option. I don't believe I recall reading anything about multiplayer, right? Right, yeah. Unless they announce multiplayer functionality in a future update, it looks as though the game will be single player. But I mean, you know, that's perfectly fine anyway, right? Like, who wants to play with other players? Pfft. Friends are overrated. And that about sums up the updates over the last 5 or so months since my last video. They have Patreon exclusive builds available for players that are subscribed to them, but they also offer public builds for people interested in trying the game out with less features in the off chance that you'll like what you see. I am actually going to go ahead and download the public test build soon to see if I can't get a better gauge of what the game is like. Then I'm going to be subscribing through Patreon to compare the differences. Then I'll include them in a follow-up video in a few months when I further expand on how much progress the game has made. Honestly, they have made quite a few improvements in terms of graphics, models, animations, and even the combat itself. Just think, This all started with a team of 2 people. As of the beginning of 2020, they have 12 people working on the game, with 3 more being hired on once they reach their 80,000 per month goal. Speaking of, yes, they are currently at roughly $70,000 per month, which is an impressive feat, as there are almost 6,500 fans backing them currently. I know we still have a ways to go before this game launches, but I am nevertheless excited to see how this ultimately ends up progressing over the next several months. Like, seriously, this is a game that actually needs to happen. Too many people try to shut down games like this because they're, I don't know, different and appeal to like a different audience and a different market to what normal people deem as appropriate. I'm honestly glad that it is moving along so well and seeing so much success. But hey, that's just my opinion, my impressions of the game and its latest updates. What do you guys think though? Is this something that you might be interested in playing? Let me know down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Anyway guys, that is it for me. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this and I'll see you all next time. Peace.
Someday soon, I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh.